Hey, Jeff Adorno from Earthwalker. I'm out here in the Sierras running a winter survival course, and the objective today is to build a snow shelter, a snow cave. And first step in that whole thing is finding the optimal location, right? Location's everything. So what I'm looking at the land here, I'm looking at this leeward side of this hill here. I know the snow is here. I mean, we've got about 18 feet base here. But what's happened is about 3 weeks of sunny weather has condensed this snow. Not only is it kind of disappearing with the sun, but it's going to be very hard to dig, but we're up for a challenge. I see this as leeward side because look at this tree right here with this snow load. And so you can see the windward side, and you can see that we're on the leeward side of this hill. So my bet is that I can poke this avalanche probe in. This is roughly 7 feet, and not hit any earth. There's earth right there, about 7 feet. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I'm guessing right in this area would be a good place to dig in. We'd have just enough space. It's such hard condensed snow. It's gonna be a lot of work, but if we have multiple people working on it, we'll just kind of conveyor belt snow out. So the plan is dig in, but down as well. So we're gonna have to move a lot of snow. I'm gonna delayer because you don't want to get too sweaty in alpine conditions. I'm gonna be using a snow saw to help. These aren't just modern tools. They can date back into indigenous times. They had various like Alaskan Native Americans use like bone and such. It gives you a real mechanical advantage to getting big blocks, especially since the snow is so condensed with like weeks of sunlight. Big blocks will be helpful, so we'll just cut them out. So there's no way around it. It's going to be a lot of work. Some other little detail that I like to share is most mountaineering shovels like this will have these little places right here, these little eyes. You can tie in some cordage like this. I'll show you later, but it can be a real mechanical advantage, a real back saver to hold this and be shoveling snow with that aid as well. All right, so this is what I mean, just having cordage on the end of the shovel gives you a mechanical advantage. Different muscle group, moving all this snow. We're gonna go down about 4 or 5 feet to guarantee a ceiling before we cut in and start excavating out sleeping platforms. All right, so the three of us have been digging for roughly 30 minutes and we're making good headway. I'd say we have to go down maybe another couple feet before we'll start cutting into the mountain. It's hard work, there's no way around it. Something that is cool, it's kind of a side note here, is you can see time here in the snow. What I mean by that is you can see the snowstorms. You can see the different layerings and the different thawing patterns. If you're really technical and you're doing an avalanche test, you would cut a column with a snow saw and do a tap test, right? You see the failure or where it failed, and it'll help you make, safety decisions. But just overall, generally, you smooth this out, you can start seeing these layers of time where there's been a storm and there's been a thawing. You can see these layers here. I can feel them too as I go. I'm just helping to find, like here's kind of an easy crusty layer where there's maybe a little bit of faceted or hoarfrost, whatever, but that's a weak layer. Just kind of running your hand over it, you can feel. That's the fun part now where we actually get to start excavating in and digging out some platforms. And so there's two ways you could do this. You could do it like a more traditional snow cave, where you're tunneling in. It's a tunnel in method. And it's more work, it's more time, and there's a point in there where it's a little claustrophobic. It's kind of bizarre if you do it. Basically, you start digging away, and slowly putting foot by foot of your body in there, creating space, and you dig basically in and then up, and then make the convex cavity there and create your platforms to sleep on. A faster way, and you don't compromise much efficiency, is doing the capital T. Just slide it, you don't have to lift it. Oh, good. I want at least a couple feet on the ceiling, and as I'm digging in, I'm slowly considering that convex angle, right? Just chipping away at it piece by piece. Give yourself some headroom in there. Not too claustrophobic. You can also change the height of these benches if you want a little bit more space. That's how it works. Got a lot more work to do. It gets so cramped in there, it's hard to work with more than one person. So one person can be outside, conveyor belt, conveyor belting the snow out while the other excavates. So we've been a couple hours into this, and it's to the final details, just about right. Just cleaning up the ceiling, making sure it's an arch, a convex arch that creates support, stability. The last step will be punching a couple air holes. You definitely want to do that. Just to emphasize, this is more of a sustainability shelter. It's not a quick, shelter. You're going to be burning lots of calories, lots of water, lots of energy, and that's with multiple people. But the advantage is, if you put a day's solid work into this, you've got a sustainable shelter for it. It's really stable. So that's the idea. Not a quick snow shelter. Just chipping out that arch, step by step. All right, we're at the final steps of this. We've got 2 bed platforms. A little place for a little tea candle, crease of light and heat in here. Some of the fine details some people miss is taking your glove and hitting off any high points or any little nipples, because what will happen is all your heat will be in here and create condensation. You don't want drips on it. So that's a simple way you can take care of that. It's just smooth it all out. The fine details. Last step here is we've got to block off the top of this tee. So we'll actually crawl in here. That'll trap our heat in here. Already it's pretty warm in here, honestly. We'll trap our heat with those blocks, and then we'll crawl in, and this will be a cold well, and we'll call it a day. It'll be a snow. So we started on the ends here with a couple blocks, and with some real long blocks to match in the center, just to close it up and trap that heat in there. All right, and that's the finished product. Just doing some snow masonry, kind of a keystone to put these 2 blocks together. They just find gaps and fill them. I like to use my fist to create that bonding. But that'll do. Some gaps there you could fill. Just take some blocks. chunks. Fill them up. There she is. Last thing you want to do is you want to poke a hole for ventilation. Yeah, it looks good. All right, just like that. Looks good. Let's go inside. A little low ceiling. Put the candle right there. That's one side. There's the other side. For safety, always sleep with your snow shovel inside your shelter. You can also retain a lot of heat by blocking off the door with your backpack or other gear. And bringing a simple candle can create a lot of light inside and slightly raise the temperature. I'm always curious how strong these snow shelters are. The snow is pretty condensed from weeks of sun and consistent weather, but always kind of curious how much load this could take. That's pretty impressive. I'm like $1.75. That's about 2 feet ceiling width. I mean, I'm not excited about the idea of jumping up and down, but